Hi, everybody. We're back again. Thank you so much. Today, I'm actually here with one of my amazing cohorts from Disrupt HR South Jersey. I'm really excited to introduce Anastasia Branco, who is also the Garden HR and consultant, executive coach, trainer, and I'll let her introduce herself too. But I'm really, really excited to have you here. Welcome to When Worlds Unite, HR and AI. And I'm really excited to learn all about you. So as you guys know, when worlds unite, we're very unorthodox. We're very laid back. We're very easygoing. So enjoy the show, have fun, and let's have a few laughs, a little bit of education, a little bit of learning, and see what Anastasia can bring to the community. Welcome, Anastasia.
Thanks, Alex. It's wonderful to be with you, especially as you're kind of in the early stages of your new podcast, Congratulations. So I am very honored to be with you for one of your early podcasts. So I'm excited. And I'm throwing one more world in there for you. So we have the world of HR, the world of AI, and I'm throwing in one more world, and that's my garden world. So we can probably talk about that now if you want, or we can hold off on that. But I see your plant. So I love it. Those are not my plants. That's a virtual background. I have plenty of plants in my space, and of course, my beautiful garden outside. And as you might remember from our Disrupt cohort, I called myself the gardener, the garden HR, because I see our organizations, I see our teams, I see the people who make up our organizations as part of a garden. And that's what I help organizations do. I help them thrive together, grow together, and it's a lot of fun. So if you catch me on any of the socials, you'll see some of my videos, you'll see some of my posts or newsletters. Be sure to sign up and follow. I'd love for you to hear my story and what I'm doing, but I know, Alex, you already know the story.
No, and our audience doesn't, so we definitely want to hear about it. So I want to hear all about gardening with HR because as you see, I love my plants. I'm a plant dad.
Great.
If I can find ways to incorporate gardening with HR, I will totally do it. And you have some really great content on LinkedIn that I really appreciate. Want to tell me a little about your LinkedIn and a little about what gardening HR is, and then we'll kind of jump into all of your fun little prompt questions.
Thanks, Alex. And I'm glad you're a plant daddy. I love the more people that can tell me their stories. And if you catch my upcoming Disrupt talk, it's about cultivating connection. So that's going to be my next story, is about how my world has expanded through this story. But it really is a lot of fun. So a couple of years ago, I was laid off from a role that I absolutely loved in an organization I still support. I love the brand. And I thought I better get my head and my heart and my hands really busy. And when you live in New Jersey, you go out and you plant tomatoes, of course, and zucchini and eggplant and peppers and everything else. And every year I try new stuff. Like this year we did cantaloupe, which frankly was the best cantaloupe either one of us has ever had in our entire lives. Like everybody was getting a cantaloupe. I was like, giving out cars. You get a cantaloupe, and you get a cantaloupe. I digress. But I realized while I was out in the garden, because I was building these beds and putting plants in the beds, and then I thought I better get in the house and start building a spreadsheet about what I planted in which bed. And I came in, really did. I started building this Excel spreadsheet out, and I laughed at myself, and I thought, wow, you can take the girl out of work, but you can't take the work out of the girl, right? And that's when the light bulb really went on for me. And I thought everything I'm doing out there is everything that we do as business professionals, as organizational leaders, as HR professionals. And so for me, a brand was born, and that's how I became the gardener. And if you think about every time in any organization, we onboard a new employee, it's no different than putting fertilizer into soil so that our seedling will grow strong and healthy.
Right? The best favorite metaphors, plants in HR.
Yeah. So, think about one of my other favorite ones is growing a team is the same as the collection of plants that you would put in a bed together. We call it companion planting, and that's where plants help each other to grow and thrive based on their growing habits, the soil they like, the sun they like, the water they like. Well, think of that as our teammates, right? That we put a functional team together, and who are the ones that are going to help each other thrive, grow, and perform versus the ones who are going to always be competing for resources or not supporting one another, right? So it's such a cool metaphor, and I love it. I had so much fun with it. And, it's kind of launched my speaking platform, and I'm just really excited because it combines my passions, right? It combines my 30 years of experience in organizations and leadership and human resources with getting dirty out in the garden.
So if you want to get dirty out in the garden, let me ask you a question. AI is coming, and that's going to be very messy and get very dirty very fast before it stabilizes in the next few years that are coming through. As someone who's so passionate, and now you've embraced the organic, the human aspect, Earth, right, Mother Nature, AI is very opposite, right? It's technology, it's artificial, it's very disconnected from the life force of Mother Nature and stuff like that. I'm probably gonna get super spiritual on you.
That's good.
How do you see AI doing this? Like, how do you see partnering up with AI? Some companies like Microsoft are using AI intelligence for what you're doing right now, Excel sheets, data gathering, data collections, and being able to maximize on the analysis of how your plants are growing, and then taking it one step further. Do you find that that's going to be helpful? Do you feel like it's going to be a benefit or a challenge, or what will happen to your whole garden? Will robots be doing the gardening?
No, I don't. That's like a farm. I don't have like a farm. I have a garden. I'd like to think it's a farm, and I do have overalls, so I do like to think I'm a little bit of a backyard farmer. I think I got a promotion the last couple of years. I started out as a gardener. Now, I am a little bit of a farmer. So they're very cute overalls. I'm looking for winter overalls. If Duluth Trading Company wants to send me some really cool printed, I will absolutely wear them and promote them all over the place. But I digress.
Tag them. We'll tie them onto the video. And
Please, yes, they have Be Curious overalls with like floral and mushrooms and gnomes. I'm all about it. Somehow I went from Talbot's being one of my favorite stores to shop.
Talbot's.
Right. And now I shop, I kid you not, I spend my weekend shopping at Tractor Supply Co. and Duluth Trading Co. Like they're my new.
Wow.
I will still hit up like the Loft and Talbot's, for things like this. But yeah, now I shop at Tractor Supply and Tractor Supply and Duluth. So it is funny. But no, you know what, Alex, it's
we digressed into fashion. We were about to talk about farming and AI analytics.
It all comes out. I'm going to bring it on home. I promise. It all works, for all of my career. And very early in my career, I started in executive search. And so a lot of my career was in talent management, in recruiting, in talent acquisition. And there was always a push to go toward technology. As we implemented applicant tracking systems and all of these things, the reality is it always came back to, for me, I got to be honest with you. And if you're somebody who's followed me or somebody I've known in my career, then I always talk about a combination of art and science. It's not one without the other. And you can't just have the science. You can't just have the tech for tech's sake. It got to be how you're using it. And I'm sure I'm preaching to the choir here, right?
No, I love it. But for me, people and talent and finding the right jobs with the right people, with the right skill sets, with the right, personalities too. I love Amazon, and a while ago, 15 years now, Zappos. You remember Zappos? It's still used as a great case study in all of my classes that I take when I'm teaching or in my dissertation right now that I'm working on my doctorates. And they always talk about Zappos and their philosophy. Their whole recruiting strategy was on people. They didn't do assessments. They didn't do anything. They actually took out people drinking. They went to take them to the local brewery and they had beers and they kind of like let's go play games. They wanted to see how they would interact as human beings,
Yeah.
because you can teach them skills. I mean, the job is a job, right? You can be taught how to do customer service. You can be taught how to process payroll. You can be taught how to
Yeah.
do accounting, but can you really be taught how to fit in with the personality or a culture?
That is such a huge part of it. And when you and I connected offline about doing this, that's where my head went, right? So it's about marrying the art and the science. You can have all the tools you want to. If you can't do this, if you can't connect as a human, whether it's in a conversation after a professional event, whether it's having a conversation with a candidate as a recruiter, or whether it's connecting with participants in a class, then none of the technology matters. And you have to know how to marry things together and use both to your advantage, right? So all those years ago, as people want to move towards technology and recruiting, that's great, but you still need to be able to connect with another human. How does that candidate know they want to join this organization without connecting with other humans there?
I'm gonna throw a wrench into this one.
Okay.
So now AI is the voices, the voice recognitions, there's the chat box that are coming out there, but like AI is like all these different deep voices and deep fakes, where they're now creating like platforms or agents or like software where you can actually get on the phone and actually have a conversation with somebody, and you think you're talking to a real person, and in reality you're not. A lot of customer service people industries are doing this right now.
Yeah.
I literally was in a chat. I had some issues with my purchase that I did, and I was talking to somebody, and they were so accommodating. Like, they just gave me a refund, and they're like, okay, no problem. We're happy to help. We want satisfaction guaranteed.
Yeah.
But like a year and a half ago, it's like, please hold it. I transfer you to somebody else. And I got transferred like 15 different people.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm exaggerating, but it's like around 5 or 6. I won't lie. Amazon loves transferring you nonstop, which is one of those things right now that I'll kind of going off on tangent. But Lena Khan, absolutely brilliant, Yale graduate, professor at Columbia Law, just brilliant woman. And she's really taken to the next level of making sure companies remain ethical and moral, and taking away their abilities to, like, for example, right now, this big implementation she did was on easy cancellation subscriptions. So in the past, you want to cancel, you have to go through 15 different prompts to do it.
Right.
And so that's something I really love. And I hope she takes that to the next level with like AI and customer service. So when people are coming in there, if you want to speak to a real person, you have to be identified that you're speaking to an AI, or you're speaking to an actual live rep, right?
Right.
And I found it so amazing that like these companies are doing this. There's just so much potential, and we're going down, I think, slippery slopes unless we don't rein it in. But I've seen so many different professionals, like, for example, Mark Cuban. I love that man. He is one of my idols. Like, I really look up to him from as a business professional, as an ethical leader, as an entrepreneur, as an innovator, as a social warrior or a social advocate. And he was actually a little bit on the fence. He's like, if we regulate AI too much, then we're going to lose out on the potential of advancing the technology, which we could fall behind other countries, most importantly, China. And I'll throw in another random fact in here. They just like were able to design a quantum computer or an algorithm that can now hack into a 24-bit encryption password or encryption protocol. That's kind of
Not too terrifying.
No, not at all. Especially since, like, one, quantum computing is still in its infancy stages. It's still, there's still challenges. There's very, very specific protocols that need to be put into place for it to work, and they already got it to hack into the system. Whoa! So if we go back to HR, human aspect, where are we? Like,
it's terrifying. It really is. And I think about, I do like what you said about how there's the opportunity to be identified as a computer or a human, right? Who are you talking to? And I think about how individual we are as humans. There are going to be people, and there's no way to, I'm sure there's a way to slice it demographically, but maybe not, right? Because you might have one person who loves just jumping on with the technology, or another person who's going to say, no, 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 I absolutely only want to talk with a human. Or you might have one person who, based on the situation, like if it's just about a quick refund, yeah, I could talk with the technology. If it's a different kind of question, the very same person might say, no, 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 I need a human. So I think we really do need to remain true to being human, whatever it might be, right? And so as I think about that from the lens of looking at talent in our organizations, or even the kinds of organizations, right? When I was just listening to you talk about some of the things that are going on out there, my first thought is, and I'm sure you know that the providers out there are targeting different sizes and types of organizations. But my first listening to you is, what about the little guys, right? What about the entrepreneurs in the small and medium-sized businesses who are kind of my target audience, especially when I'm looking at my client base, and I'm thinking they can't always afford the big solutions that are going after. I know Amazon actually generates a lot of their own solutions. They don't buy solutions. They make their own. But as I think of these big organizations who can afford these partnerships, but the little one that I used to work with that had 36 people, they can't. So they're sticking to humans and using technology when they need to, right? That's what a lot of these smaller organizations are doing. So I don't think it's a one size fits all approach, just like anything in life. I really don't think it's a one size fits all approach. And because of that, getting back to your very first question is, what's going to happen to my garden? I'm not going to lose those skills. And so I think maybe the folks who are, this is what scares me, especially when I think about it from a learning perspective in human resources, the folks who are going to learn technologies and know when and when not to apply them are going to be better off than the people who totally give over to the technology, because I'm terrified, especially our young people don't know how to read and comprehend, because we do it in our home. Ask the little AI assistant, I won't say the name. Instead of looking something up, we'll ask that technology the question. Grab our cell phones to ask the question instead of trying to figure it out. When I was growing up, I'm quite a bit older than you, and if I didn't know how to spell something, and I would ask my mother, and she would say, go look it up in the dictionary. And the dictionary was like this thick, right? I see you freaking out.
Not old enough, because I'm right there with you. I used to grab that big dictionary, I used to open it up, I couldn't find the word, and then I've learned 15 different. I cut you off. I'm sorry.
Okay. No. You're absolutely right. So because now, not only did you learn how to spell the word, you just said you learned 15 other things while you were there.
Yep.
And, think about autocorrect is AI.
Yeah.
It's on our phones or on our favorite Word document or online or whatever it is.
Or predictive texting.
Right.
So we can't spell anymore because of predictive texting. Yeah.
Right. So are we losing that ability to just spell? I mean, when was the last time you had to memorize a phone number? Growing up, you knew the phone number of every relative.
Everybody.
Right. So again, now we're supposed to be learning new skills because we're using this technology. You're supposed to save that room in your head to learn new skills, but are we? So for me, yes, I want to be able to use technology, but I still want to be able to, by the way, I'm still harvesting stuff out of my garden, which is awesome, but I still want to be able to grow lettuce and eat lettuce for dinner tonight. And by the same token, you and I are using technology right now to connect and record something that people in the world are going to be able to save, right? So it's balancing it, it's marrying those two opportunities.
Do you think social media has played a real problem or a detriment, or has been a benefit to what we're talking about? Because before social media, we were still doing those lookups. We were still balancing ourselves. We were still had some kind of balance from a technology perspective versus, we had those cell phones, right? We still remembered numbers, right? But then social media came around, and then our psychological, our psyche drastically went from balance, human connection, meeting up, to now like, hey, I'm going to be an avatar. I don't ever want to talk to you. And if I want to be a mean person, or I want to be a capital D and then capital F, K, yeah, I'm going to do it, right? And I can hide behind an avatar. I can hide behind trolling. I can hide behind all this stuff. I mean, look at the way X is going. I mean, I used to really enjoy it because it was my news outlet. I was able to get a lot of like editorials, op-eds, a lot of different journalists bringing out there and news faster, right? But recently I found out, I mean, again, I found out this a few years ago, but I was just a little shocked that how it worked. And we just stopped using X because there's a whole porn side of X now. Yeah, that freaked me out. I found out during COVID, I found that out. And I was like, what? I mean, this is public? And then all of a sudden, our account started, like my company account started getting like random tags. I was being tagged to a lot of spam. I was tagged to a lot of like these types of people. So then we just stopped using it. And now I've let it go dormant a little bit. I mean, will I use it again? Probably not. Will I invest in it? Probably not. Will I log into it? I haven't logged into it in about 4 or 5 months now, for work-wise. Why? Because I'm terrified. I don't want to post something and all of a sudden another thing to come in there. I'm like, okay, we have OnlyFans. We have regular internet porn. Like, why does it have to be on Twitter? Like when Twitter went to X, I feel like that was just a like subliminal, like, or maybe it's subconscious, maybe not. I'm not sure, but it's funny that when I found out about this whole porn side of Twitter, all of a sudden Twitter's name ended up being X. And what do we normally associate X or the triple X?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Right.
No, and that's news to me.
It's gonna get crazier with AI too.
Yeah. No, it's news to me. And so, in answer to your question, I absolutely have the benefits of social media. Again, you and I are going to be able to, through this platform, podcast, reach people that you wouldn't have otherwise, right? And normally we would have to set up studio time and go sit somewhere and record this. And so, I mean, those things are happening more easily. And there's
this is healthier. This is healthier. This is like, I watch so many people on YouTube and I'm like, oh my God, like right now we're working on building out just training modules and just free tutorials for our clients and for our customers and our future potential customers. And it's so helpful because you know why? Where do we learn most of our stuff nowadays? On YouTube.
Yep. No, it's true. But I do think we lose a lot. Right. And so through social media, we're losing, on the one hand, yes, we're getting human connection. On the other hand, we're losing human connection. And I think it sets up a lot of expectations. Forget about what poor teenagers are dealing with maybe body and image expectations. I as a growing business, face those same things. Am I doing enough of this? Am I doing enough of that? I record my videos and I'm recording those and I'm thinking, wow, they're not produced enough. Because I'm authentically me. When I do my videos and I'm wearing my hat and I'm out, that's me. That's it. That's who it is. And so it's authentic, but we still put those pressures on ourselves. But and it's interesting.
That's our older generations, by the way. The younger generations don't care.
Yeah.
They don't care. Like, have you seen how they normally dress? I was at World Trade Center in the Oculus, getting the train to come back home. And I saw like these 3 kids. They must have been like 17, 18, 16, 17, 18, around that age. Flip-flops, like your pajama flip-flops, right? Like when you wear like those little fuzzy ones, right? Sweatpants, overworn sweatpants, overworn sweatshirts. Like their hair looked messy. They looked like they just rolled out of bed. And one of them was holding a bowl of pasta with like metals, like a metal bowl, like one of those ceramic bowls, and then a metal spoon. And she was just looked like she had literally walked out of bed, walked into the kitchen, and somehow ended up at the train station.
Okay, years ago we would have called that performance art, and now it's just called Tuesday.
Oh my God. I don't know. Maybe it's Americans because I know my cousins in Europe, they wouldn't be caught dead walking out of the house.
No,
Like that.
not fashionable.
Or,
No.
my God, a bit of self-respect and decency.
Yeah.
But that's the problem, though. Different culture, different mindset. These kids, they don't think it's self-respect. They think they're totally great. That's me being me, authentic.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe the American culture may be a little
I
bit
don't know.
shifting.
I don't know. And I'm hoping maybe it'll swing back to center a little bit, and I think that maybe for the young people who do, you know, present themselves are going to be the ones who kind of rise, right? The cream rises to the top. And so that it is a case of they're going to be the ones who are out there building organizations or finding cures for diseases. You know what I mean? They're going to be the go-getters. Yeah, we're all going to have our rough days where we wear our fuzzy flip-flops and oversized sweatpants. We all have those days. But, are you kind of being that person who takes that who makes that extra effort? And so, it's funny as we talk about good people, and when we talked about today's topic, when I thought about today's topic, I did some classes over the summer. I did some trainings, and there was kind of a dichotomy of participants from this organization in New Jersey, and they had a lot of population of very young people who this might be their first job, maybe their second job, but a lot of it was their first job. And then a lot of people who were like partner and principal, senior people who have been in the workforce for quite a while, like myself. And so the class that they requested was a business etiquette class of all things. And I thought, what? Really? You want me to do a business etiquette class? Oh, okay. Like, really? This is what you don't learn about?
Like, you don't know why, right?
Right. And I was shocked. Until I did the classes. And it's amazing that the young people, and they're all lovely and super engaged. God, oh my God, they're going to be checking out. This is going to be awful for me. This is not going to be good for me as a trainer because they're going to be like bored and checked out. They were so engaged. And sometimes we couldn't even get back to the material because of the discussions we were having were so engaging. And I literally would just sit down among them. I pulled up a chair and sat among the groups to talk about these different issues, because these are groups of young people who have only communicated like this. They've only done it, like you're talking about, having keyboard conversations with AI. And in some cases, they can't even do this. And they were just, like I said, they couldn't even leave some of the conversations because they were so keyed into this, so clued into this, and what are we going to do? And some of them even admitted, I don't really know how to smile to other people when I'm with them in person. And they're a very client-heavy organization. They still go out and visit their clients a lot. And they just, I won't reveal the organization, but they're like in finance. So these aren't necessarily salespeople who are used to sticking their hand out to shake someone's hand. These are people who maybe a little more introverted anyway. And so now they're even more hampered because they've lived their lives on a keyboard. And because of COVID, they were never out there. And again, I'll defer to my parents who, I come from a very blue collar background. And when I was growing up, in like the late 70s, early 80s, and my mother made me sit and practice shaking hands. And I was like, I don't want to do this. It's stupid. And she said, no, you're going to need to know how to do this. You're going to need to learn how to make eye contact. And these young people are out working in our workforce, and they were struggling. And so I thought, again, when I thought about our conversation today, these are young people who'd be happy to jump AI to gather knowledge. but AI is not going to be able to connect with them like I was able to connect with them in those classes and literally practice shaking hands with them and talking through different social, like work social situations with them that you and I might take for granted because we're thinking, how do you not know how to do this? And they're looking at us going, how do you know how to do that? And it was basic stuff.
Hey, how do you not know how to use a computer, right? Hey, how do you not know how to say hello?
And so, right. So there's, again, do you know how to balance the use of technology with your human connection skills?
Yeah.
And I don't know.
How did that training go?
It was great.
Yeah.
It was great. The responses I got, the evaluations were fantastic. And I'm hoping to do those classes again with some other organizations. I got really good responses because I try to take kind of an upbeat, lighthearted approach to those classes so that it's not so heavy. I mean, literally, I had some of the senior folks even approach me saying, hey, can we even talk in the future about maybe how they should sit through client meals?
That's cultural based though too. So it depends.
Yeah.
If you're in the South, you're in the South, or you're in the North, you're in the Midwest, you're in Texas.
But you're from another country.
Let's not even begin with other countries. But
and we had people in the class who are young people who are from other countries or their parents are from other countries. Yeah. So, but I mean, these are again kids who are used to DoorDash.
Oh yeah.
And they can't sit and have a business meal. And I'm not even saying something very formal like a business meal, but they can't even sit with someone who's not a parent or a friend.
I'm sure that ChatGPT in it. Yeah, otherwise in at dinner.
Exactly. And that's where kind of my next thought going is that are they just going right to technology for training? And as you even said, you're doing some YouTube channel. I've set up my own YouTube channel. And there's, again, I think a time and a place for that, right? If I'm using one of your solutions, I know you do a lot with like UKG, right? Ironically, I have my little UKG notepad. Yay! So another tag, there you go. But so if you just have to do a quick little video because I need to figure out again how to do like a login, a video makes sense. I don't need to hook up with Anastasia to set up a training class to that. Right. But if I need to learn how to do interpersonal skills kinds of things, if I need to learn how to, I don't know, just, I do communications classes as well, because again, a lot of people can't do that. I do intro to public speaking because again, a lot of people, we think everybody knows how to do what we're doing right now and everybody doesn't. We assume that they do.
Right.
And again, how do they get their points across? So I think there's things that we can use technology for. Even when I'm doing my training, I hit maybe AI for a graphic. I'm graphically challenged, I'll say, right?
AI is great as a tutor. AI is great as a supplement tool to provide you a lot of. We don't need to reinvent the wheel, right? Correct. We already know what we want. We don't have to write complicated and start from scratch, right? Those are really great.
Yeah. And I do want to share this one last thing with you too, because it's one that's big for me. And that is, as I talk with a lot of our speaker friends, probably folks that you know, and we talk about intellectual property.
Ooh.
And that's the big one for me. And again, if it's something out there that's already an established model that you're just tapping, look, AI is just a fancier search engine in some respects, right? So you're just trying to go out there and get info so that you don't have to go back up to your office and grab out a textbook and look it up. So I get that. And I've done that. We've all done that. Like I said, I'll use AI to maybe generate a graphic that I can't use graphics programs. However, when you are now putting stuff into some of these different programs, whomever you're using, right? ChatGPT, Gemini, Copilot, whatever you're using.
Oh God, everybody has one now.
Be cautious. And I actually shared with a couple of colleagues we were at an event over the summer because I try to attend all of these AI sessions wherever I see something offered by like the Chamber of Commerce or whomever, right? I try to go to these so that I'm picking up knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of people are so excited to use the tool, and this, we could talk about this again. Like you said, it's going to be hard to rein back. Some people are so excited to use the tool that they don't realize they're dumping intellectual property in.
Yep. Yep.
And now it's not protected.
Google has been doing that for 20 years, right? Why do you think OpenAI gave it for free? When they launched it, they gave it out for free. Why? Massive amounts of data, really, really fast. So, and now they're starting to do this paid stuff. And then poor Sam Altman, man, what a con artist. I mean, loved the guy, but totally pulling a 180 and just pulling the rug all underneath our feet and just dissolving his nonprofit board of directors and just making billions of dollars and now exclusively owning AI after he signed huge deals with Microsoft and others, different companies. Wow.
Right.
That ethics is going to be a big topic with AI.
Exactly.
Ethical leadership too. It's really ethical leadership that we have to be mindful of, not the ethics of, should AI tell you, how to behave. It's more of like ethical leaders of like, how much restrictions can we put in there? Are there protocols in place to not let AI take over the world, right? Like,
yes.
Are those happening? Are they happening? Well, of course. I mean, if AI looks to anybody as a role model and looks to its human counterparts, especially its creators, well, Sam Altman wasn't very ethical with the way he went about it, right? Very timid, very shy. This whole altruistic personality and going down there and promoting the product, and then all of a sudden pull the rug off underneath everybody and just dissolved his board of directors, which is now, I think, a lot of theories. My personal conspiracy theory is that's why the board tried to fire him. They're like, whoa, you can't just take the company over and make it profitable and then do whatever you want with the technology and then have no restrictions, have no boundaries, right? You can't be like, the wizard behind the curtain. And then, who knows what's going to happen, right? So I think the board attempted to do that. But because of his personality being so altruistic and so timid and so shy, so having this kind of persona, no one knew what was going on behind the scenes except for the board. And when the board made an attempt, unfortunately, because of his personality and his persona that he had in there, the board didn't have enough to display, to defend itself. But also the board, I think, was trying to be ethical too, and they didn't want to disclose any of personal information or defame him in any way, shape, or form, and tried to do it amicably. And all of a sudden, boom, he's a billionaire, 100% control of the company, and all 13 original founders of OpenAI have now left the company. There's 3 left, and the biggest one that left was my shout out to Albania. Her name is Mira Moratti. She was the CTO of. She was the one who launched OpenAI. She was the one who did all those amazing webinars and those tutorials, the introductions, stuff like that. And she left. She won't say why. She's amicably walking away.
Right.
But yep, she's done. The moment he said, I'm dissolving I'm dissolving the nonprofit, he had 100% control. She was out the door. And now there's only, I think, 2 left besides Sam. That's really, really, really concerning.
Well, and that's where I think we have to, and again, whether it's for us as individuals or for us as leaders, or when I think about human resources, we have to have individual ownership and awareness, and maybe not be able to rely on the fact that organizations have been caught off guard. The organizations are not prepared.
Oh, yeah.
They're not ready.
HR scrambling. I mean, this is why I think I'm so passionate about this podcast, is because HR doesn't know what they're doing. And a lot of my disrupt HRs are all based on the fundamentals. Wait. Let's slow down. Stop everybody going into these hypes and going into these webinars and not having a clue of what's going on, because that's not going to be coming down the road anytime soon, right? It's going to be very, very high level. It's going to be very behind the scenes stuff. HR and payroll, we're a call center, so we always tend to be the very last to get any of that advancements coming down the road. So that's kind of like where I'm very passionate about. It's like, guys, we need to slow down. Like, we can't just keep going into these hype and going into all these different webinars and like saying, oh, this is amazing, because you're walking away with what? You're going back to your computer and you're back to doing all the basics, or you're selling your intellectual property to OpenAI, not knowing it and not thinking the ramifications. Oh my God, I just dumped all of my employee demographic information or my EEO reports or my financials into OpenAI, not realizing that OpenAI just took your company's data. Well, what do we do with security? Now that's a security breach. Now it's HIPAA compliance breaches.
Yeah.
Now that's your PII violations. Oh boy, what do we do?
So who wins is a few of my HR attorney friends, right? That's who wins, because they haven't been able to even get policies, right? And they haven't been able to get with enough organizations to write policies for them.
That's just the next evolution, right?
Yes. Yeah. The technology is ahead of the behavior. Yeah. Well, the technology is ahead of the behavior, which is ahead of the policy. Let me put it that way. So people are excited about using the technology, but organizations and policies and those things haven't caught up to the tech and then the behavior right behind it. So organizations right now have people on their teams that are using this tech. And like you had shared, this could be dangerous as far as private info getting out there, your clients' info getting out there, your company's data getting out there, because employees are so excited about using a tool that can make their workday better that they don't know what they're stepping into. And the leaders in the organization, the management level, the leadership level, doesn't know what employees are doing. And that's where the risk is. The risk isn't always in that they're using it, right? Because as long as there have been employees, there have been methods, right? We always look for a shorter way to do it, a faster way to do it. So I don't know that that's fully the risk. It's that there's that unknown of the tool. So whether it's the Industrial Revolution and we don't know what that new machinery is going to do, and we work a little too quickly and we lose a thumb, now we're using this new technology a little too quickly without knowing what the risks are, and we can risk losing our company's data, intellectual property, trade secrets, whatever it might be. It's not a new problem.
No. And there's so many more new problems that are going to come up, right? And this is not like the way blockchain was, right? Everybody was really hyped about it. It's a really good platform. But it kind of died out. This is not going to die out. It's just going to get better and better and better, or more complicated. Like I was talking about with Mark Cuban, right? Like, we have to be ahead of it, because if we're not, then China will be, or another country will be, or Russia will be, or any other country that wants to advance in their technology. Oh man, this has been so refreshing. Honestly, this is so interesting. Thank you so much for taking the time. Do you have any last words you want to give to your HR friends and colleagues out there in the cyberverse?
Thanks, Alex. No, I really do appreciate it. I've enjoyed our time together, but I am really excited about the conversations that can keep happening. And I really do want our, whether it's our tech friends or our HR community, we need to continue talking about skill development for the humans. The technology is going to keep developing. It's the human skill development that we can't lose sight of. We cannot lose sight of the skills that got us here, right? The human skills, the interpersonal skills, being able to shake someone's hand, make eye contact, have a conversation like we're doing now, whether it's on technology or after an event like you and I did, where we found a way to connect and stay connected. And we were able to use the technology as the conduit, you and I, to communicate and stay connected after the human interaction. So that's why I said I think there's, early in our time together, I think there really is a balance and a blend of the art and the science. So let's make sure we still continue to use the art of our human interaction.
I love it. Thank you so much. Again, I really appreciate you being on the show. Again, everybody, thank you so much, Anastasia Branco. It's a pleasure. Until next time. So, in your own words, stay greens, stay artsy, and stay HR. Thank you.
Keep growing. Bye.